What's up, guys? It's Higgins in Japan, and I'm just driving to work, and wanted to respond to a quick question that I received. And the question was basically, where do I go to eat food in Japan? My response, 2 words: get lost. Alright, so here's my real response. Well, no, that's still my real response, is to get lost. And I'm going to tell you why. If you're new to a town, or if you're new to Japan in general, you might not have a car, so it might be difficult for you to get around. But the great thing about Japan is that you're more than likely going to be within walking distance of who knows what, anything. I mean, yeah, you could live out in the sticks and not be around to anything, but for the most part, you're going to be close to something. And you need to get lost. You need to get out of your apartment, quit playing with your Pokemans, and explore your town. When I first moved here, now I had somebody with me the first 2 days to make sure my bank account was set up, my post office box, my utilities were set up, all that stuff. So all that stuff was pretty much done for me. I just had to stand there and look pretty. There were a couple of people in the town when I first moved there that were also teachers that worked for the same company that I did. And so I could easily ask them where things were, and I did from time to time, but for the most part, I got out of my apartment and I walked around my town. And I had a couple of weeks before school actually started, or a couple of days before school actually started, so I could kind of get the lay of the land. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to get out of your apartment and you need to go find where these places are on your own. Mostly because I don't live in your town, and so I can't give you suggestions on where to find food. The other thing is, and this happened the other night, a friend of mine from college, who also lives in Japan, came over. We hung out for a little bit, and we're like, hey, let's go get something to eat. Where do you want to go? I don't care. All right, well, we've got like you got the normal chain restaurants in Japan, and you know, you've got the Coco's Curry, you've got the Coco's Family Restaurant, not related from what I know of. You've got McDonald's, you got Starbucks, you know what a chain restaurant looks like. But we were like, let's jump on the train. Let's go a couple stations over and see what's there. Neither one of us had ever really explored outside of that station before. So, you know, what's the harm? And there wasn't, honestly. So the cool thing about Japan and restaurants in Japan is, even if they don't have an English menu, before you even go into the restaurant, a lot of the restaurants will have either like a menu signboard, or they'll have all that fake plastic food in a display case. You can see what you're getting into before you get into it. It's really great. So we get to this town, we're walking around the station, or walking around outside of the station, and you know, you see the typical izakayas and that kind of stuff, and you're like, well, we're a little bit more hungry than like going to a cafe. But every single restaurant that we went by had a signboard on it that had pictures of all the food. And even if you can't read Japanese, which is fine, you know, they have pictures, and you'll be able to see by the picture what the food is. And we walk up to one place, and a lady comes outside and says, how's it going? What are you doing? Like, I'm trying to figure out something to eat. She's like, well, have you ever had food from Okinawa before? And I said, no, I've never had food from Okinawa before. I was like, well, like, what is it? Like, what's special about food from Okinawa? Like, what makes it special? And she's like, oh, it's a lot of pork, and, you know, it's kind of similar to Chinese food, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sounds good, like, let's go. So my buddy and I go inside, sit down. She asks, now here's the thing, a lot of restaurants don't have English menus, and some do. Some will have like a limited menu translated into English, but it's hit or miss. Like, there's no guarantee that they're gonna have an English menu. But anyways, she's like, sorry if this is a rude question, but can you read Japanese? And I was like, yeah, not enough to save my life, really. But she's like, well, we don't have an English menu. And I said, I don't care. I was like, what is your recommendation? Like, this is both of our first times here. This is our first time eating food from Okinawa. What do you recommend? And she was like, oh, I can order for you? And I was like, yes, just order for us. So she brought us out half a dozen different things. You know, a stir fry and sausages and what else? It's early, I can't remember things. She brought out a bunch of different food for us, and it was amazing. Like, it was great. It was awesome food, and like by the end of the night, we were both full. We were like, man, that was a great idea. And that wouldn't have happened if we would have just decided to go to McDonald's, which from time to time you need a burger. I understand. But man, straight talk here. You need to put your big boy pants on and go explore your town. I mean, everybody needs to do that. You need to explore your town, and even if you don't have a car, like I said, you can get around Japan. Might take a little bit more effort, but in the long run, it's gonna make your experience of Japan a whole lot better. Trust me. Don't just stay at home and be one of those weird foreigners that doesn't know how to do anything on their own because they're too afraid. I mean, I can understand if you're afraid you're going to get lost. I mean, get a map or Google Maps. That's the other thing. Google Maps has a really cool feature where you can just do search this location for whatever. So if you really need to find a restaurant, there's that. But yeah, seriously, like, get out of your apartment. Stop staying at home all the time. You know, make new routines, get out of routines, do something, grow up. This video is great. All right, well, I'll catch you guys later. I'm gonna finish driving to school. You guys have a good one, and if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, leave them in the section below. Like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff. Head over to facebook.com/Higgins in Japan. I'm making videos again. It's a whole new year. I'm probably going to be a lot more sarcastic.